Hey everyone, Duke here, and today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to be going over the Master Planets encounter and basically just breaking it down as deep detail as I possibly can. I've already got a video going over kind of the basic tips and the overall challenge, but this is going to go into deep detail after a week of doing this challenge with well over 100 people, helping over 100 people with this challenge that have different levels of either skill or experience. So I feel like I've got some pretty good tips and a really good just kind of feel for this encounter at this point. So we're going to go into some very, very deep dives into it. To start, I know it's Solar Surge for the Master Planets week, but with some of the artifact mods we've got, specifically Volatile Flow and Bricks from Beyond, I feel like Void Machine Guns are still the play for this encounter. Bricks from Beyond is just an insanely strong mod. It's going to make your team heavy. And yes, I'd actually recommend machine guns for this, at least for most of your team. If you want to have one, maybe two people on rockets, that's workable, but I feel like most of the team, especially the two ad clearers, and for me, I think just getting to damage phase consistently is going to be your best bet rather than worrying about rockets. But again, if you want to have one or two people on rockets just to kind of push the damage a little bit, that's fine. It's definitely going to be a 3-phase using machine guns, but that's fine as well. As if you're more consistent with it, that's more important than trying to push the 2-phase. And again, we're going for consistency, we're going for safety with everything we're going to talk about here. I would highly recommend at least 2, if not 3, Well of Radiances for this encounter. If you have 3, you can use 1 for each plate for damage phase. If you have 2, you can kind of put them between the 2 plates. Technically, even if you just have 1, you can put it in the middle and kind of touch the plate and then go to the well. I wouldn't recommend that as much on Master, and especially if running machine guns, which again, I would recommend machine guns. The damage will go a little bit slower though, so you're going to want to have a couple extra wells for the damage. Pretty obvious, but Starfire Protocol is extremely strong, and with Solar Surge the week for Master, gonna make it even stronger. This is where most of your damage is going to come from, at least as a Warlock. I'd recommend, honestly, personally, I'd recommend having as many Warlocks as possible. I feel like that makes the damage really easy. It makes the survival really easy. But again, even if you have a Hunter, Tethers are useful. Titan, honestly, I feel like Titan is less useful, but you can use Solar to survive. You can use Thunder Crash even if you're comfortable for some extra damage. But Starfire on Warlock's going to be extremely good and make damage super duper easy. You just hold down the machine gun every time your grenade's up, throw a grenade. This is where your damage is coming from. Now for the 2 ad clearers in middle, I would highly recommend they both be Warlocks and that they both run Phoenix Protocol, not Starfire Protocol. That's because you're going to drop a well, you're going to stand in the well, you're going to kill a bunch of things, you're going to get half your super back, and then once the first well runs out, next person drops the well. You should have infinite wells between these 2 people. They're never going to die. They're going to make a bajillion orbs for the rest of your team when you actually get to damage phase 2, which makes everything a lot easier. But definitely highly recommend both ad clearers beyond Phoenix Protocol. Do you need this to survive? No, absolutely not. You can absolutely use other things. You can use other classes. However, again, think about this. If you're watching this video, I feel like, maybe you're trying to do this on LFG, people are struggling, right? If you yourself can survive, that's cool. But if you're on a Warlock, if you're on Phoenix Protocol Warlock, you're making yourself survive, you're making your entire team potentially survive. Maybe not your whole team, but multiple people can be standing in your well, right? So like, to me, I think the biggest problem with people that complain about LFG is they don't think about their team, right? You're thinking about yourself. And if you can kind of get over that hump of like, okay, I can do this myself, but I can also think about how I can make other teammates' lives easier, that's going to make your own life easier when it comes to completing difficult challenges like this. Whatever chess piece you are using, I would highly recommend running 2 solar resistances and a concussive dampener. That's going to keep you alive from the fire and all the bosses, boops, and everything else that it shoots. So no matter what you're running, I'd recommend double solar and a concussive. And obviously, of course, you can always rally with a reserves chess piece of whatever heavy you're using. If you're running a void machine gun, triple void reserves. Running like a arc rocket or something, do triple arc reserves. You can run something like hothead demolitionist, also very good for damage. Again, I know it's Solar Surge, but to me, I feel like some of the best things we have options for are either void machine guns or, hothead's really strong. You could run something like cataclysmic, but then you probably want a div. Yeah, the crit spot's reasonable, but again, I think void machine guns or galley can work decently as well, but I think void machine guns overall going to be your best bet. Also, don't forget your boots surges. These are going to give you a little bit of extra damage too for whatever you're using. I would highly, not even highly, like you need to use this. Use recuperation. There's going to be plenty of orbs, at least there should be, and this is going to keep you alive, especially if you are a runner for the top 2 plates going across. Picking up an orb, giving you that chunk of health is going to save your life more times than not. If you want to be super sweaty and absolutely maximize your damage, you could do something with your loadouts where you just press one button and it just swaps, swaps your boots from double void weapon surge and recuperation to triple weapon surge, or if you're not using void, whatever you're using here. But I would highly recommend, at least for the running phase, starting with recuperation. Also, that actually reminds me, if you are an ad clear on Phoenix Protocol, right, you should absolutely switch to Starfire Protocol when the damage phase starts. There's absolutely no reason not to. You have like 12 minutes before the damage phase actually begins. So quickly swap to Starfire, do the damage phase, and then swap back to Phoenix Protocol for after damage phase. Very easy, small thing that you can do to make the encounter significantly easier. Also, some basic mods that you should be running. Again, Void Siphon is going to make you a bajillion orbs if you're running a Void Machine Gun. Heavy Ammo Scout and Heavy Ammo Finder is going to give both you and your teammates even more heavy if Bricks from Beyond isn't already doing that. But heavy, just use your machine guns for everything, which we'll go over the footage here in a second, but like, kill everything. You want stuff dead. If stuff is dead, you are not dead. That is a positive. In terms of which Void machine gun you use, all of them are good. Commemoration is outstanding. I actually am using Corrective Measure in all of this because Demolitionist on the Void machine gun, A, helped me a lot for just dealing with the barriers, to have a grenade up every single time to immediately get the shield to pop and then break the shield. And then B, when you're actually doing damage, this makes it so you never have to reload, and you can just, put a couple shots in, get that Starfire proc going, throw the grenade, your bag is full again, shoot some more shots, throw a grenade, your mag is full again. Like, you never have to worry about reloading or anything like that. When I wasn't running this one, I did do some runs with Commemoration. You can also just swap to, for me, I'm using a Void Traces as my extra kind of weapon. Just swap to that rather than worrying about reloading your weapon. You're going to do a lot more damage just shooting something and keeping the grenades going, rather than like trying to reload your Void machine gun. That's not really the main damage anyway. Again, this is specifically for Starfire Warlock, but again, if you're watching this, I would recommend this is what you want to run. This is like the loadout you want to run if at all possible. Again, it's doable with other things, but this is the top notch, like significantly consistent loadout you want to be running. One other thing to talk about with Void machine guns is the Origin Hones artifact perk. If you want to run something like Retrofit Escapade, this is going to allow Retrofit specifically, but there's also other weapons. But Retrofit has the Ambush Origin trait, so that's going to allow it to be overcharged, which means it gets the 25% damage buff, even though it's Void and not Solar during Solar Singe, which those don't stack anyway. So this will allow you to basically get that damage buff and still get the benefits of things like Bricks from Beyond and Volatile Flow. Retrofit is another solid Void machine gun. I haven't really ever used it a ton. The nice thing with Retrofit, right, a lot of people have used, is the 4th times and target lock roll that you can get on it. However, I feel like target lock is going to take a while to kind of spin up, and the fact that you're moving from plate to plate in terms of the damage phase, you're not going to get as much benefit from it. I would definitely recommend 4th times the charm if you're going to use it, but honestly, Vorpal might end up being better than target lock. I'm not sure 100%, but some sort of a damage buff, 4th times the charm, and again, make sure you're running that Origin Hones or artifact perk if you're going to run this. That's going to give you extra damage. Again, if you're a Warlock, I wouldn't even worry about or bother with this too much because you're going to be throwing grenades as most of your damage. But if you want to do a little bit more damage as not a Warlock and still be able to run a Void machine gun, this is probably your best bet. Also note again, as not a Warlock, if you're running something like Void Hunter or Void Titan, Void Weapon Channeling is definitely a mod you're going to want to have, as this does stack as a damage buff with pretty much everything. And so if you get one kill on anything right before damage phase, which there's going to be Scions around, there's going to be ads in the middle probably that you're going to want to clean up, Scions on the side platforms that maybe people didn't kill, should be very easy to get one kill with your machine gun right before the damage phase. This is definitely something you can take advantage of. You should have at least a couple abilities up, whether your melee, your grenade, something, your super even. This is going to give you that damage buff, so Void Weapon Channeling, another huge mod to use. Again, this is not going to help you as a Warlock unless you're running Void Warlock, which I wouldn't recommend, but Void Titan or Void Hunter, this is going to allow you to be a little bit more in it as a non-Starfire user. One other very small thing, but very potentially big save is Proximity Ward on your class item. This is going to allow for you to get a powerful overshield when you do a finisher. There's a lot of times, again, you're going across, especially if you're on the top 2 platforms, which I'd recommend if you want to do as much for your team as possible, which I'll go over in a second. But getting a finisher on like a Scion somewhere, anything, that's going to keep you alive. Like, this is a very useful mod for just all content, but for this in particular, I feel like there was multiple times it 100% saved me and kept me alive. I would recommend this mod 100%. So we're going to go over ad clear first because it's pretty self-explanatory. Again, drop a well right on this middle plate, keeps you alive, start going to town. If you use anything but your void machine gun at any point during the ad clear, you're doing things incorrectly. Like, if you have to reload, reload. If you have to do anything, like, just keep using the void machine gun. There's a lot of orange bars that are going to make you and your teammates heavy with bricks from beyond. Again, when the well runs out, if your teammate's well runs out, you drop the next well. You continue this process forever. You're going to have wells. You're going to be chilling. You can help kill some of the Scions if your runners are not doing that, which we will go over what you should be doing as a runner here in a second in terms of killing those Scions. But literally just go to town, take down everything with your void machine gun. That's it. You just rotate your wells. You're good to go. Picking up orbs if you need to. You can kind of run out and pick up a few orbs if you need to. But if you need heavy, again, just try to do that in between phases. If you want to be super duper mega OP, you can use a shoot to loot scout rifle that will pick up the heavy for you in terms of just shooting it. Then you don't even have to move or do anything. That's definitely not required, but that was a really good thought that one of my friends came up with when running and doing the ad clear. They thought about that and they're like, if I misuse my heavy the whole time, easy. Like, I don't really need my primary anyway, so absolutely worth doing. I'm also running div here just for extra damage for the team, and actually div with Starfire is pretty nuts too. You can actually throw grenades kind of in between while using Starfire and keeping the div up for like still having the div up pretty much 99% uptime, so not a bad idea as well to get even extra damage. But again, the damage is not going to be a big deal if you're running Starfire, if you're running some of this stuff, so just keep things dead, keep slaying. Again, don't use anything else. Like, watch this footage. I have not pulled out anything but my heavy and thrown some grenades the entire time. Drop the wells consistently. You're good to go. Now let's go over the flow for the runners. So when you first start off, you can help kill some of the orange bars. And once you kill all the orange bars there, that's going to spawn your Centurions on your side. But before you kill the Centurions, turn around, kill your 3 Scions. Then turn back around, kill the Centurion. That's going to spawn the Colossus on your side. Make sure to call this out. Help your teammate, right? If you call this out, your teammate's going to know, left side Colossuses are up, left side barriers are up. You call that out, that's super helpful. Now, as soon as your Colossus dies, you got 3 more Scions. Kill these. Do not immediately pick up your planet. Just kill the 3 Scions again. From here, obviously pick up the planet that you need for the challenge and go across, normal stuff. For this part, again, if ads aren't really down, or even if they are, go a little bit wide. Like, go back towards the middle a little bit. You don't have to go like a straight line to make it across. You got plenty of time. Go wide, go back towards that middle. And this is another benefit, if your ad clear is right, like I was talking about, ad clear has got those wells on that middle plate. If you need to dip into that for a second as you're going across, you're dying, dip into the well for a second, get your health back. If you're running recuperation, as long as you pick up one of the orbs in the well, that'll get your health back pretty much instantly. You don't have to like wait for anything. So don't be afraid to do that. Again, now you're on the other side, kill the Scions, turn around, kill the Centurion, and then that's going to spawn the Colossus. Kill the Colossus. Again, call out to your teammate when you're helping to kill that barrier. If you're in the middle ad clear team, you should also be calling that out, because technically the ad clears in the middle are going to be killing those Centurions quite often, but you can help with that from this top spot. That's why this top spot is so useful. And again, if you want to be as productive as possible, if you want to be as useful to your team as possible, I'd recommend being a runner on the top left or top right side, because you're pretty much able to be a runner and an ad clear at the same time. And clean up Scions, get those orbs, like you're chilling. Clean up ads, clean up everything. Like, you can do pretty much everything from this top spot. You have a really good line of sight as a runner and as an ad clear, so like just be willing to take advantage of that. Again, same rotation, kill those Scions first, turn back around, help kill the Centurion, spawns in the Colossus, kill the Colossus. Like, every single time, do not leave those Scions up. Kill the Scions first, kill the Colossus, kill the Scions again. Like, you're good to go. Just rotate, keep everything dead, move the planets to middle, get to damage phase. Do this every single time, and you're going to be extremely clean. You're going to get to damage phase extremely cleanly. So during damage, again, throw your grenades as much as you possibly can. You're using your heavy pretty much just to get your grenade back. Like, that's all you're doing. Like, as soon as you get that grenade, throw it. You charge up your grenade again with Starfire, throw it. Charge up your grenade again with Starfire, throw it. Like, that's literally what you're doing the entire time. On that plate, I'm actually saving my 2 nades because I didn't want one to go immune, because I knew it was getting close to the immune phase, but pretty much your grenades are your damage here. If you're running Starfire, just your machine gun is what's charging you up. Again, obviously you could do that with Wither Horde. You could hot swap to Wither Horde in between phases, like from Arbalest to Wither Horde, and you won't lose any ammo because it's the same slot and the special, but honestly, I don't feel like that's super useful. I feel like that's more if you're gonna run a rocket, I'd let that person do it because you don't want to screw up their demolitionist procs on like a demolitionist explosive light hothead, for example. Like I wouldn't waste the Wither Horde on a machine gun person, because if you didn't already know, Wither Horde can't stack. Like if 2 people shoot Wither Horde at the same target, it's only going to proc for 1 person. So you don't want to like take their Wither Horde from them, basically. Technically, you could have 2 people do it if you have 1 person shoot at the actual target and 1 person shoot at the floor. But again, I'd recommend still, like if anyone's running rockets, especially demolitionist rockets specifically, they're the people that would run Wither Horde or hot swap to Wither Horde versus you as if you're running a machine gun and helping more on the ad clear and just throwing grenades side. And one final tip, as this is something I'm always looking for as someone that does a lot of helps, you always want to be able to cover for your team in case a mistake happens, right? So again, you want to stick with the flow here, kill some of the orange bars. Once the Centurions start spawning in, kill the Scions behind you, help kill the Centurion, Colossus comes in, right? You did all the stuff we just went over. Kill your own Colossus, of course, first. You want to always focus on your job first. But before you do anything, right, we kill the Colossus, and you start killing your Scions. If your teammate happens to die, right, like wait a little bit, let them kill their Centurion before you really make a move. If their teammate happens to die, you can go down there, you can help kill their Centurion, and then that's going to, or I'm sorry, help kill their Colossus, and then you can make that call out for them, right? So since I didn't pick up this planet yet, I can still see their planets down there, and I can make that call, let them know what they need to move, and that's going to be really beneficial. Technically, I could just look over there and before I move anyway and be in good shape, but again, I just recommend kind of sticking with that flow. You have plenty of time, you're good to go, and again, be a helpful teammate. This is definitely the extremely detailed guide that nobody asked for, but I do hope it was helpful if you're someone like me that really likes to get into the nitty-gritty of some of this stuff. Do note we will be doing some helps again this week, at least Tuesday night, potentially later in the week if we have enough people that still want or need help. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.